Raja Yoga by Swami Vivekananda. Chapter Raja Yoga in brief continued. He is my beloved worshipper. He is my beloved bhakta. He who is not jealous of any being, who is the friend of all, who is merciful to all, who has nothing of his own, whose egotism is lost, who is always satisfied. He who works always in yoga, whose self has become controlled, whose will is firm, whose mind and whose intelligence are given up unto me. Know that he is my beloved bhakta, from whom comes no disturbance, who never becomes the cause of disturbance to others. He who has given up excessive joy, grief and fear and anxiety, such a one is my beloved. He who does not depend on anything, pure, active, giving up all, who does not care whether good comes or evil, never becomes miserable, knows the same in praise or in blame, with a silent, thoughtful mind, blessed with what little comes in his way, homeless, who has no home, the whole world is his home, steady in his ideas, such a one becomes a yogi. There was a great god sage called Narada. Just as there are sages among mankind, great yogis, so there are great yogis among the gods. Narada was a good yogi and very great. He traveled everywhere, and one day he was passing through a forest and he saw a man who had been meditating until the white ants had built a huge mound around his body. He had been sitting in that position so long. He had said to Narada, "Where are you going?" Narada replied, "I am going to heaven." Then asked God when he will be merciful to me, when I will attain freedom. No further, Narada saw another man. He was jumping about, singing, dancing, and said, "Oh Narada, where are you going?" His voice and his gestures were wild. Narada said, "I am going to heaven." Then asked when I will be free. So Narada went on. In the course of time, he came again by the same road, and there was a man who had been meditating till the ant hills had grown around him. He said, "Oh Narada, did you ask the Lord about me?" "Oh yes." "What did he say?" "The Lord told me that you would attain freedom in 4 more births." Then the man began to weep and wail and said, "I have meditated until an anthill has been raised around me, and I have 4 more births yet." Narada went to the other man. "Did you ask my question?" "Oh yes." "Do you see this tamarind tree? I have to tell you that as many leaves as there are on that tree, so many times you will be born, and then you will attain freedom." Then the man began to dance for joy and said, "I will have freedom after such a short time." A voice came, "My child, you will have freedom this minute." That was the reward for his perseverance. He was ready to work through all those births. Nothing discouraged him. But the first man felt that even 4 more births must be too long. Only perseverance like that of the man who was willing to wait aeons till will bring about the highest result. Patanjali's Yoga Aphorisms. Introduction. Before going into the yoga aphorisms, I will try to discuss one great question upon which the whole theory of religion rests for the yogis. It seems the consensus of opinion of the great minds of the world, and it has been nearly demonstrated by researchers into physical nature, that we are the outcome and manifestation of an absolute condition back of our present relative condition, and are going forward to return again to that absolute. This being granted, the question is, which is better, absolute or this state? There are not wanting people who think that this manifested state is the highest state of man. Thinkers of great caliber are of the opinion that we are manifested specimens of undifferentiated being, and this differentiated state is higher than the absolute, because in the absolute there cannot be any quality. They imagine that it must be insensate, dull, and lifeless, that only this life can be enjoyed, and therefore we must cling to it. First of all, we want to inquire into other solutions of life. There was an old solution that man after death remained the same, that all his good sides minus his evil sides remain forever. Logically stated, this means that the man's goal is the world. This world carried a stage higher, and with the elimination of its evil is a state they call heaven. This theory on the face of it is absurd and puerile, because it cannot be. There cannot be good without evil, or evil without good. To live in a world where all is good and no evil is what Sanskrit logicians call a dream in the air. Another theory in modern times has been represented by several schools that man's destiny is to go on always improving, always struggling towards and never reaching the goal. This statement, though apparently very nice, is also absurd, because there is no such thing as motion in a straight line. Every motion is in a circle. If you could take up a stone and project it into space, and then live long enough, that stone would come back exactly to your head, and a straight line, infinitely projected, must end in a circle. Therefore, this idea that the destiny of man is progression, ever forward and never stopping, is absurd. Although extraneous to the subject, I may remark that this idea explains the ethical theory that you must not hate and must love. Because just as in the case of electricity or any other force, the modern theory is that the power leaves the dynamo and completes the circle back to the dynamo. So with all forces in nature, they must come back to the source. They do not hate anybody, because that force, that hatred which comes out from you must be in the long run come back to you. If you love, that love will come back to you, completing the circuit. It is as certain as can be that every bit of hatred that goes out of the heart of man comes back to him full force. Nothing can stop it, and every impulse of love comes back to him. On other and practical grounds, we see that the theory of eternal progression is untenable. For destruction is the goal of everything earthly. All our struggles and hopes and fears and joys, what will they lead to? We will all end in that. Nothing is so certain as this. But then is the motion on a straight line. It's infinite progression. It is only going out to a distance, and then I can come back to the center from which it started. See how from nebulae the sun, moon and stars are produced. Then they dissolve and go back to liquid. The same is being done everywhere. The plant takes material from the earth, dissolves and gives it back. Every form in this world is taken out of corresponding atoms and goes back to those atoms. It cannot be that the same law acts differently in different places. Law is uniform. Nothing is more certain than that. If this is the law of nature, so it is with thought. It will dissolve and come back to its origin. Whether we will eat or not, we shall have to return to the origin, which is called God or Absolute. We all came from God, and we are all bound to go to God. All that God, by any name you like, call him God or Absolute or Nature, or by any 100 names you like. The fact remains the same, from whom all this universe comes out, in whom all that is born lives, and to whom all returns. This is one fact that is certain. Nature works on the same plan. What is being worked out in one sphere is being worked out in millions of spheres. What you see with the planets, the same will it be with this earth, with men and with the stars. The huge wave is a mighty compound of small waves. It may be of millions. The life of the whole world is a compound of millions of little lives, and the death of the whole world is a compound of the death of those millions of little beings. Now the question arises, is going back to God the highest state, or is it not? The philosophers of the Yogi school answer emphatically that it is. They say that man's present state is a degeneration, and there is no one religion on the face of the earth which says that man is an improvement. The idea as that his beginning is perfect and pure, that he degenerates until he cannot degenerate further, and that there must come a time when he shoots upward again to come to the circle must be there. However low he goes, he must ultimately take the upward bend again, and then go back to the original source, which is God. Man comes from God in the beginning, in the middle he becomes man, and in the end he goes back to God. This is the method of putting it in the dualistic form. In the monistic form, you see that man is God and goes back to him again. If our present state is a higher one, then why is there so much horror and misery? And why is there an end to it? If this is the higher state, why does it end? That which corrupts and degenerates cannot be the higher state. Why should it be so diabolical, so unsatisfying? It is only excusable in as much as through it we are taking a higher growth. We have to pass through it in order to become a regenerate one. Put a seed into the ground and it disintegrates, dissolves after time, and out of that dissolution comes a splendid tree. Every seed must degenerate to become the stately tree. So it follows that the sooner we get out of this state, we call man, the better for us. Is it by committing suicide that we get out of this state? Not at all. That will be making it all the worse. Torturing ourselves or condemning the world is not the way out to get out. We have to pass through the slough of the spawn, and the sooner we are to the better. But it must always be remembered that this is not the high state. The really difficult part to understand is that the state, the absolute, which has been called the highest, is not as some fear, and that of the zoophyte or of the stone. That would be a dangerous thing to think. According to these thinkers, there are only two states of existence, one of the stone and the other of thought. What right have they to limit existence of these two? Is there not something infinitely superior to these two? Is there not something infinitely superior to thought? The vibrations of light, when they are very low, we do not see. When they become a little more intense, they become light to us. When they become still more intense, we do not see them. It is dark to us. Is the darkness in the end the same as in the beginning? Certainly not. It is the difference of the two poles. Is the thoughtfulness of the stone the same as the thoughtfulness of God? Certainly not. God does not think. He does not reason. Why should he? Is anything unknown to him that he should reason? The stone cannot reason. God does not. Such is the difference. These philosophers think it is awful if we go beyond thought. They find nothing beyond thought. There are much higher states of existence beyond reasoning. It is really beyond the intellect that the first state of religious life is to be found. When you step beyond thought and intellect and not reasoning, and then you have made the first step towards God, and that is the beginning of life. This that is commonly called life is but an embryo state. The next question will be, what proof is there that this state beyond thought and reasoning is the highest state? In the first place, all the great men of the world, much greater than those that only talk, men who move the world, men who never thought of any selfishness whatever, have declared that this is but a little stage on the way, that the infinite is beyond. In the second place, they not only say so but lay it open to everyone. They leave their methods and all can follow in their steps. In the third place, there is no other way left. There is no other expansion. Taking for granted that there is no higher state, why are we going through the circle of the time? What reason can explain the world? The sensible will be the limit to our knowledge. We cannot go further. We must not ask for anything more. This is what is called agnosticism. But what reason is there to believe in the testimony of the senses? I would call that man a true agnostic who would stand still in the street and die. If reason is all in all, it leaves us no place to stand on this side of nihilism. If a man is agnostic of everything but money, fame, and name, he is only a fraud. Kant has proved beyond all doubt that we cannot penetrate beyond the tremendous dead wall called reason. But that is the very first idea upon which all Indian thought takes its stand and takes to seek and succeeds in finding something higher than reason, where alone the explanation of the present state is to be found. This is the value of the study of something that will take us beyond the world. Thou art our Father, and will take us to the other shore of this ocean of ignorance. That is the science of religion. Nothing else can be. Chapter 1. Concentration. Its spiritual uses. Now concentration is explained. Yoga is restraining the mind stuff, chitta, from taking various forms, vrittis.